So what if America is losing its best and brightest minds? This isn't a future problem. It's happening right now in the United States. Policy and budget changes are pushing them to leave the country. But who benefits from this U.S. brain drain? Let's check out the facts. You're seeing an effect, but what is the real cause of this? A brain drain is happening in the United States right now. What, you guys know what a brain drain is?
Yes.
Oh, you know what a brain drain is?
Is it people just
basically people, smart people, educated people, scientists, researchers, they're leaving the country.
Yeah. Okay.
This is happening right now because of recent budget cuts and the new government policies. Top scientists and other are moving to other countries for better funding and better jobs. So these
not coming to Canada, are they?
Well, they will if Canada wants to reach out and start funding research projects for sure. These policy changes were to basically focus with DOGE and all that was to focus on cutting spending, cutting wasteful spending. That was the idea. But even the big beautiful bill, what was the goal of the big beautiful bill? Was to give, I think, to give big tax breaks for large companies and the top earners. And also, the Trump administration made it harder for foreign scientists or foreign students to come to study or work in the U.S. This mix of new policy created a new problem. The problem was that all these tax cuts meant less money for the government. The U.S. is already in unprecedented debt. Okay, it's in $38 trillion, even more, and this new budget is actually going to add more to that, and it also has a very high deficit. So leaders, to make these huge spending cuts to make up for these huge spending cuts to balance the budget, they had to make some cuts. And a lot of these cuts landed hard on science and medical research funding. Just to give you an idea, $333 million were taken away from the CDC, a lot of CDC programs, but one of the programs is to fight infectious diseases. Okay, $163 million to the Office of Public Health Preparedness and Response. These is basically the guys that were in charge during when COVID broke out, and these guys were the people who had to plan out what happens when a pandemic happens. So they're cutting that. Well, they did cut that. About $76 million to the CDC Center for Global Health. What else? $3.7 billion to the NIH, that is ran or at least headed by RFK Jr. Took away money for researchers.
What is NIH?
National
Institute of Health.
Yeah, that's it. This causes cancellation of clinical trials, which is terrible because you need clinical trials to approve new drugs, new medicines, or other things to progress the medical and science research. This gives big difficulties for researchers because they have no longer funding to do their research projects. Disruption of vital medical research across various fields, including Alzheimer's disease and cancer research. They took out money from Give Kids a Chance Act, which was aimed to boost research into new cancer drugs for children. So basically, they took away money that was allocated to boost research for cancer for kids. They took that away. Something called elimination. They eliminated the Fogarty International Center, which trains scientists and people that work in clinics to work in developing countries, which is very important because one of the best ways to influence a country besides military or might is called soft power. You know what soft power is?
Oh.
To help a country out through aid. That's what U.S. aid was for, was to project soft power. And they cut up. So basically, like, a country's in trouble, you help them, right? They had an earthquake or something, you help them out. They have, just charities and stuff like that, just help out the country. That's soft power. That puts U.S., that's like marketing for U.S. to have good diplomacy with that country, right? Yeah. And they also took away $874 million from the Department of Energy Office of Science. And this was a huge shock to researchers. So what happens? So what's the result of all this? One, the U.S. is losing top talent. Losing top talent weakens the U.S. innovation system and also can affect the economic progress. It can actually slow down the economy. There will be fewer skilled workers, which hurts both local and national competitiveness. There will be fewer researchers, meaning lower scientific output and a loss of global leadership. And it will be harder to build international partnerships in science and diplomacy. Like I said, that soft power I mentioned before. So who benefits from this? Who benefits from this is European countries and China. Right now, Europe and China are doing big incentives to lure all these scientists and researchers and medical doctors and stuff like that to go to Europe, to go to China. Europe, I'm not so worried about. China is what I'm worried about. China is the number one producer of goods. All right, it's literally a factory, the whole country.
Big time.
But one thing about China, what they lacked was innovation. That came from the West. They were just able to build Western products. But imagine now they have the brains and the actual might of the work. This will kill, this in 10, 15, 20 years, this will kill the Western world. China will have all the cards. Let's say they take over Taiwan. They have all this research and all this top talent, brain power in their vault and production power. That is a giant that you don't want to have. Mm-hmm. Not only that, they're draining talent from US. They're also the talent that would go to US from other countries can't go there anymore. So they're going to go. So you have this double, it's called a brain gain. China can get this whole brain gain, and that can really raise their level to be innovative. And so I just want to end off. What do you guys think of this China getting this upper hand in the next 10, 15 years? They'll have
They'll have more power.
It'll be a scary threat. Huh?
They'll have more power in the world, you think?
They'll be more innovative. Imagine China being more innovative as a whole than the Western world. And they produce everything. And let's say they take over Taiwan.
We got to be ready for it.
Yeah,
man.
but they can be innovative and control. But do you actually think they're going to force influence on their type of, because they're communists, their type of totalitarian beliefs, just because they're a superpower?
Well, I don't know if you're aware, but they're already influencing a lot in Bangladesh, India, Africa, South America. They're influencing because they're investing a lot of infrastructure to all these countries.
Speaking of, how is that going to affect us? What,
especially the Western world and Europe?
Like, how is that? If
let's say they have a big influence in Africa and they have a big influence in South America.
Yeah,
that's already like half the planet in the sense of the lower southern hemisphere. China has more influence over than the Western world. So what China usually does, China does a lot. He goes to these countries in Africa, South America, that happen to Bangladesh, and they go. They don't have money, right? They're struggling to pay. They want to build a bridge or a train system or a highway system, infrastructure, right? China goes, we'll lend you the money. Yeah. No problem. We'll lend you the money. Yeah, thanks, man. Man, China's nice, man. China's good. So then you have all these construction companies, the jobs. You have the Chinese flags everywhere. You get Chinese influence. All of a sudden, these countries can't pay them back. Like they were already like kind of economically kind of like not strong. All of a sudden, they can't. They pay back the Chinese. Oh, that's no problem. You can keep everything. Just give us access to your mine. Give us access to this, to your oil, to whatever resources.
Resources, man. That's what they're hungry for.
And then they're an influence. With their influence, the government owes them. Okay, so they have major influence after. Happened to a lot of African countries. Happened to a lot of South American countries and Bangladesh. I don't know about other. What happened to Chinese bases? China wants all of a sudden. Well, let us open a base in Argentina. I don't know. I mean, not Argentina is a bad example, but it's just African places.
Yeah. Okay.
It's somewhere Central America. Then the main reason of Panama is because Chinese has too much influence there in the Panama Canal around
Possibly,
there.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So imagine they had, can we build a military base in Panama? Like, this is like slow. This is like slow military stuff. This is slow power growing. Overnight, yes. You say, what's China gonna do?
Yeah, it was in the 5, 10, 15, right?
China always plays the long game.
Yeah. China the States do the same thing?
Huh?
No.
No, they don't?
Who doesn't do the same thing?
Right now, like, United States are like
they do the same thing, but they don't have to do what China does because US has that soft power. Yeah. People trust the USA. Yeah. They love the USA. They love American movies. They love American music. And, you can say about the States, about Iraq, and it's the war and stuff, but all in all, usually the US are the good guys, right?
Yeah.
Internationally, you think. So when they want to build a military base, you're looking at, there's like a partnership. This is like an ally. If anybody ever attacks us, the US has our backs. So US has that soft power that US is allowed to open. I think US probably has the most bases in as a country all over the world.
Sure. Yeah.
But they didn't have to do anything crooked like China had to do. That's the difference. China has to do it this way of kind of like lending you money and then they owe you because you owe them so much money. So yes, the same thing about world power and bases, but it's different. US does it, China does it more just like, it's more like a disease. It's just like taking over slowly. So I'm just saying, like, you got to be aware of this, that these cuts that Trump did, and yeah, science and medical research, you need funding, you need money, okay? And if you take away that money and these guys want to still research, they're going to go where the money is. I'm hoping a lot of them go to Europe, which seems logical, but China is, I was reading, China is offering big money to attract this.
But